Imagine a world where time stands still, where entire towns are claimed by the tides, where history echoes through crumbling ruins and the sea whispers stories long forgotten. Today, we journey to 5 eerie and forsaken places abandoned to the sea, each with a haunting past, chilling legends, and a silence that speaks louder than words. Welcome to Poveglia Island and beyond. Our journey begins in the Venetian Lagoon, where the shimmering water hides a sinister history. Poveglia Island, often referred to as Plague Island, is just a stone's throw from Venice, yet it's entirely off-limits to visitors. Why? Because its soil is soaked in death. In the 18th century, the island became a quarantine station for people infected with the bubonic plague. Over 160,000 bodies were reportedly burned and buried here. Later, in the 1920s, a mental asylum was built on the island. Rumors speak of twisted experiments, a deranged doctor, and the tormented screams of patients echoing through the halls. Today, Poveglia is abandoned, overrun by wild plants and creeping decay. Locals refuse to go near it. Fishermen won't cast their nets there, afraid they might pull up bones. Some say the island is cursed, a place where the sea holds onto its dead. Sailing across the East China Sea, we reach Hashima Island, nicknamed Gunkanjima, or Battleship Island, due to its eerie, warship-like silhouette. In the early 20th century, Hashima thrived as a coal mining facility owned by Mitsubishi. It was a symbol of Japan's industrial might. Hundreds of workers and their families lived on the island, packed into concrete buildings with rooftop gardens and even schools. But prosperity came at a cost. The labor was brutal, and during World War II, forced laborers from Korea and China were brought here under horrendous conditions. When petroleum began to replace coal, Hashima's mines were shut down. In 1974, the island was evacuated almost overnight. Now, it sits eerily quiet. Concrete towers crumble into the waves, windows stare blankly into the sea, and rust eats away at what once was. Nature has begun reclaiming the city, and the sound of crashing waves replaces the noise of industry. On the rocky Devon coast lies the story of Halsons, a village with a tragic fate. Once home to a tight-knit fishing community, Halsons was a thriving settlement in the late 1800s. Families lived in stone cottages, and generations passed down stories of the sea. Then came the dredging. In 1897, the British government allowed the removal of thousands of tons of shingle from the seabed near Halsons to expand the naval dockyard in Plymouth. The natural barrier that protected the village was destroyed. Slowly, the sea crept in, and in 1917, a ferocious storm struck. Most of the village was swept away overnight. Only one house remained intact. Today, the ruins of Halsons cling to the cliffside like a memory. Waves crash below where children once played. It stands as a ghost village, a stark reminder of how human interference with nature can end in ruin. Once a bustling port city in medieval England, Dunwich was the size of London. It had 8 churches, a busy harbour, and its own governance. But Dunwich's fate was sealed by the sea. Starting in the 13th century, a series of violent storms and coastal erosion began devouring the land. Bit by bit, the city was pulled into the sea. Today, only a small village remains. The rest, lost beneath the waves. On calm days, fishermen claim you can still hear church bells ringing from beneath the water. Divers have discovered traces of medieval ruins offshore. Dunwich has earned the nickname, England's Atlantis, a submerged city swallowed whole by the ocean's slow and silent hunger. Our final stop takes us to the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland, USA. Holland Island was once a thriving community with nearly 400 residents, a church, a post office, and even a baseball team. But the sea began eating away at the land. Erosion, storms, and rising sea levels slowly reduced the island. By the early 20th century, most residents had fled. One house remained, standing defiant against the waves. In the 1990s, a pastor named Stephen White tried to save the house, reinforcing the shoreline with sandbags. But nature was relentless. In 2010, the house finally collapsed into the sea. Photos of the house, alone on the water, surrounded by stillness, circulated around the world. It became a haunting symbol of climate change and human fragility in the face of rising seas. Today, Holland Island is gone, just a few patches of marsh and memories.